idea. I will find him!
You're a breed. Men are brave.
It's not about deserve. It's about what you believe.
Could've just peed on him.
Like brunch. Like, what is brunch?
The story of the Defiance is well known.
What, we some kind of suicide squad?
Heroes don't kill people.
Well, I do.
Martha!
Hello everyone and welcome back to Enter the SnyderVerse. I'm one of your hosts, I'm Nathan. I'm joined by my friend and co-host.
I'm Kale, and my dad was actually an inventor. Just so you know. That's my bit.
That's fascinating. Well,
it's
Kyle...
It's not inaccurate, to be fair.
Not inaccurate, to be fair. Well, Kyle, today we're here to look at the 2023 streaming turned into mainstream movie classic, Blue Beetle.
I mean, it got a cinematic release. I don't know if I'd call it mainstream.
Nah, neither would I.
Much like any DC movie released in 2023, this was
Ayo.
a commercial failure, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think Aquaman done okay in the end. I'm not really sure. I need to take a look at the numbers.
That released in, end of December, though, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Also, definitely made nowhere near the first one, which made $1 billion.
Yes. Somehow, yes.
It's good, Kyle. It's good, that's why.
Okay.
We like Aquaman here.
Why did this get a cinematic release? Because it seems to me like DC had no faith in this movie. Or not DC, Warner Brothers.
They actually had more faith in it than maybe you think then, because they were taking a look at their properties. Because, COVID was starting to die down, you want content. And they were like, what is actually good enough for us to upgrade into the cinema and away from streaming, They took a look at what they had done thus far for Blue Beetle and thought, that's quite good actually. Let's invest more into this film. We'll do some more reshoots and we'll update it visually and maybe in set pieces to make it something worthy of the cinema, even if it feels like a Sonic the Hedgehog level film.
I do remember part of the ever nebulous marketing was, this is going to be the first movie in the new DCU.
Yeah, because it was the first movie after the Flash's big reset and everything.
And is it? Who knows? We'll see, I guess.
No, we've had clarity since then. I think they kept asking the star of this film, I can't remember his name, Zolo?
No, something like that. I'm not going to try and pronounce it.
No, and he was like, well, I'd be happy to do it. Of course he will be, But I believe other words that were said by James Gunn, which he said about other things as well, about Peacemaker and such, is everything before Creature Commandos and Superman can be inferred as story beats, but we reserve the right to retcon literally anything that happens before Superman and Creature Commandos.
Right,
and if we bring back returning talent, it's, Blue Beetle 2 might as well just be Blue Beetle 1 because we can change whatever we like and we're just using everything else as, track,
Right. Because that's not confusing at all.
No, not at all. Bit like what the original plan was for Marvel's Netflix shows when they were starting to bring actors back to live action.
Yeah, it's like Daredevil showing up in She-Hulk.
Yeah, but now with the Daredevil show, they've just said, no, we're retconning that, and now we're making the Netflix shows 100% canon. Which
is good. It's less confusing.
Yeah, I believe there's visual dictionaries for the MCU now for the first time ever include the Netflix shows.
Well, that's nice.
Because they originally had recast Kingpin's wife for the Daredevil show.
Yes,
and then
I remember.
When they went through the big creative reboot, they rehired
all the stuff that came out of that original script for the Daredevil show was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
You're not having Foggy and Karen in it. What's going on?
It screamed what we've got thus far from the Disney Plus shows.
Yes.
That's what it screamed. Just very focused on the hero and sort of safe, Whereas now you need hope.
Speaking on stuff we've already got in the Disney Plus shows, should we talk about Blue Beetle?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to, just before we get to Blue Beetle actually, this film became at the fork in the road that Batgirl went the other way with. So whilst this was getting upgraded to film quality, they took a look at Batgirl and thought, we can't save this and it will tarnish the franchise. And I, David Zaslav, who have not overseen a Batman film release, will not be part of the downfall of Batman. We are going to scrap this film, but we're going to give more money to Blue Beetle. So this is that moment, Kyle, that we spoke about
Right,
Batgirl,
okay.
but this is this episode. This is the streaming shows that went one way and the other, you know?
This is the movie that Batgirl fell on the sword for.
Basically.
Well, I can't say if that was worth it or not, because I never have and never will see Batgirl. But,
Yeah, I hope one day we'll see it, to be honest.
Batgirl is a much more famous character than Blue Beetle.
Yeah, the outfit didn't look great, though, in the Batgirl movie. It was comics accurate, but it looked very cheap in terms of, like, this is a movie.
Well, that's kind of like, that's part of Batgirl's backstory, though, is she made her own costume, so, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I know. It didn't look great. I mean, it was made for streaming, so, maybe if they put more money into it for the cinema, it would have looked better. Michael Keaton returned. J.K. Simmons came back. We had Brendan Fraser as the Pyromancer.
Firefly.
Firefly,
right?
Thank you. I just think that because we're talking about a streaming movie that made good, we should at least acknowledge the other streaming movie that broke bad, and we'll never see it. I just felt I need to address it.
If you hadn't told me many, many times that this is a streaming movie, I don't think I would have immediately picked up on it.
Yeah, the money they put into it definitely helps try and mask its origins.
Like, there's some moments where I'm like, oh, this looks very streaming. There's, I guess we'll just get into the movie. The first scene is they're in the Arctic and they find a big concrete orb or whatever.
For some reason.
Yeah, never really explained.
Is it like an Aztec pyramid or something? Like Alien vs. Predator?
Well, no, because it must have been, like, hidden there, right? Because there was a guy who had the Beetle before thingy. That's how they know you have to die, because they find, like, his scans or whatever.
Yeah.
So a human must have hid it there.
There is a story there that we'll never ever see.
Yeah. But anyway, there's, like, really, really obvious fake snow in that scene, and it just really stood out to me as, like, that's, like, Hallmark special snow right there.
Yeah. I think the actor who plays Aunt Cord...
Yes.
What's her name? Victoria
Susan Sarandon?
Cord? Susan Sarandon, yeah. She gives off, I'm a TV Disney Channel villain energy.
Oh, she's so Power Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, Rita Repulsa to the max.
Mm-hmm.
And
with Hillary Clinton hair.
With Hillary Clinton hair. So it's, I think that a lot of the casting decisions, because, who can you get for a budget? Because everyone obviously signed on when it was a streaming movie, and they probably had to pay certain people more when they were upgrading it to the cinema.
We can swing for the kid from Cobra Kai.
Yeah, we can do that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Can we swing for anyone else, Kyle? Can we swing for a Ben Affleck? A George Clooney? We can reference him. We can reference everyone.
Nathan, I liked this movie. I genuinely did. It's not the best movie we've watched. It's like a really solid Phase 1 Marvel movie is the best way to put it. There's very little that's, like, original in this movie, I'll say. Like, it's not pushing any boundaries whatsoever, but it's fun and it's enjoyable to watch.
I think you would remember this movie a lot more for the family dynamic if Miss Marvel hadn't come out first.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's very little in this movie that feels truly, like, unique and original.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is perfectly on par with everything else we've watched, Kyle. I don't really know why you would like it more than anything we've watched so far, honestly.
Oh my god, this is a breath of fresh air from the last month of shite we've been watching.
Really? Do you think? I think this is perfectly in line with everything else, which I've also said it's not great to I kinda like it. It's always somewhere in lesser than mid to just above mid. And
this is just a million times better than The Flash, and you will not convince me otherwise.
The story's maybe less rip your hair out than The Flash, but I'm sort of viewing it as this whole package, and I just think it's I like the family.
Interesting.
I like the family, Kyle. That is the strongest point in this film.
Nathan, got your fucking phone on? Come on.
I apologise. That was a bit of a moment.
I didn't mean to swear. That was a bit aggressive.
Yeah, that was. I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm shaking in my seat now.
Okay, look, as I say, this is an extremely by-the-book superhero movie. It hits, like, every beat that, like, like people talk about the Marvel template, this is following the Marvel template beat for beat. And, like, it's not pushing any boundaries, but it's following the formula well, and it knows, it does all the things well. It's not doing this out of laziness. It seems more like it's doing this out of like an enjoyment for this kind of movie.
I agree that it follows the formula. However, I think it doesn't maybe do it as well as you think it does. I think it comes across extremely like a Disney Channel original film, like Minutemen or My Dad's a Spy, Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior, those kinds of things.
How dare you insult Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior?
We are Brenda Song fans on the show, by the way. We are Brenda Song.
We love Brenda Song. When's she going to show up in a superhero movie?
Right? I know. It's just some moments in it where I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
See, you say that derogatorily. I take that as a deliberate style that the movie's going for, not as like something that it's done by accident.
Nah, if I'm not giving any other film credit for this is ridiculous and saying it's a good thing, I'm not going to do it with this film either.
Like, obviously, the villain is the most generic evil villain ever. She's just like, she's racist. She just wants to rule the world with evil cyborg men. Whatever, it's fine.
I think she's probably she is the Marvel template that you refer to, and then the villain at the end is just a colour swapped version of the hero. That's all very Marvel and all that. I'm all very much, I'm about that. I see it. I'd be just an idiot to not see it. I've seen Black Panther. I've seen Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2 and Age of Ultron.
Yep. And Ant-Man.
How could I forget Ant-Man?
There's a lot of Ant-Man in this movie.
Quite easily. I'm not an Ant-Man fan, Kyle, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, no, I mean, it's good. It's fine. I don't want to seem like I'm disrespecting it when I'm saying it's on the level of other films that I've defended against you in the past. I just find you seeing this as being something other than that is just insane to me.
I don't know how to communicate to you because this movie is so obviously better than those ones that I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe it's because this formula is just so tried and tested that I'm fed up of seeing it, whereas the other film's done something different. Like, I think I like Black Adam more than this, Kyle, I'll be honest with you. That
is an insane take.
I don't think it's an insane take at all.
I don't understand you. This is madness.
This film we've seen it a million times before, boring 3-act structure. I think the characters are perfectly fine.
The movie has an actual through line and like an arc for its characters.
What's Jamie Reyes' arc here?
He has to accept being a superhero. It's generic, sure, but that's his crux of the movie.
I feel like he's the same person at the start of this film that he is at the end. Like, he doesn't really spend much time trying to, like, okay, the beetle has achieved symbiosis. What are you going to do about that? Oh, there's nothing I can do about that. I got to learn to live with it. Because he can't even kill himself. The suit will protect him. Like, I don't think he has an arc. I think he's the same person when he's in that airport, wearing his hat. He's a happy-go-lucky person. It's like, hey, how do I look in the hat, And then the guy's like, you'll let your $6,000 in debt. I think he's exactly the same person coming down those stairs as he is when he kisses Jennifer Cord at the end and they fly away. I don't think he's been in any sort of arc. He's a nice person when the film begins, and he's a very nice person when the film ends.
Having an arc doesn't mean, like, fundamentally changing who you are as a person.
I know, but I'm just using that to outline that I just don't think he's changed at all.
I mean, he's not a superhero at the start of the movie, and he's a superhero at the end of the movie. That's a pretty significant change.
Because of acts that were done to him. He can't take the beetle out.
Yeah, but just because something happens,
start of the film,
learning to accept it is still an arc.
At the start of he's always been a bit of a local hero of sorts. He was never going to abandon his family. For instance, when he comes home and finds out that they're in debt and everything, he's like, why don't you tell him when I came back when I helped out? He's always there to stand up for his family. I don't think really at any point in this movie he's doing anything to save the city as much as it's just disconnected from the fact that, oh, my family and friends are in danger.
Well, if Victoria Card gets all of those, like, robots out, she's going to take over the planet or whatever. Also, Victoria Card is gentrifying the neighbourhood, Nathan, because capitalism is the real villain.
The capitalism is the real villain of the piece, Kel, as we've discussed with other projects. I agree with you on that, but that's because his family live there and she killed or is responsible for the death of his father.
Well, Nathan, it's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
That's what's so powerful about it, yeah. Thought it was a little bit on the nose that anyone who wasn't white is eventually going to have a turn to be a hero. There's only one white
Nathan,
person.
Are you saying this movie hates white people?
I think this movie does hate white people, Kyle. So there's only one white person in it, and she has no transformation throughout it. They try and let you sympathise with her being a victim of sexism because she's a woman. But
that scene is so weird because he's like, isn't it kind of sexist that he overlooks my aunt? But it's like, but she is evil though.
She's a very bad person. There may have been reasons apart from sexism that made that Grandpa Cord overlooked her. You know,
assumedly Ted Cord was white.
Well, Jennifer's a Brazilian actress. I can't remember her name.
Yes, but that's because of her mother. Because Ted Cord is Victoria Cord's brother, so assumedly they're the same.
Well, he's dead, and ain't that convenient, Kyle? The one white guy...
Or is he?
Or is he indeed? Well, we're never going to see a sequel, Kyle, so he might as well be. You know? The only nice white guy, Kyle's dead before the film even begins, right? And then any single person that's Mexican in this film that is evil, Kyle, they will then have a heroic turn. I really like the scientist, Kyle. Uh-huh. He's fun. He's a good character.
I can't remember his real name. I only remember that she keeps calling him Sanchez because she's racist.
I didn't even remember that, Kyle.
Yeah.
As you've read my notes, Kyle, the whole time I just refer to everyone in the Cord family as Aunt Cord and Dad Cord and Cord Henchman. Scientist Cord.
You don't remember... oh, God. I don't remember either.
He has a Transformers name.
He does have Carapax. That's it.
Yeah. Oh. Why would I remember?
That's a great villain name. Carapax, come on. He has such a distinct evil henchman look.
Yeah, ex-military guy.
He's got the scars, he's got the robotic limbs, he's got it all. He looks like a cyberpunk villain.
He's a video game character, as is the setting, the setting of this film. It looks like a Saints Row place.
I did put, it looks like Los Santos. No, that's...
GTA.
That's GTA. What's the city in the new Saints Row?
Oh, I don't know the new one. I haven't played the new one.
Okay, Santo Aliso. That's what it's called.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like that, and I love Nathan. I love it. I think I love the vibe of this movie. I love when they're at night and you can see the holographic displays and all that on the skyscrapers above their town, reflecting on them. So I think that's such a cool look.
The bit where Blue Beetle goes up into space, right? And he's looking down. He's like, "Hey, is that my house?" It looks like the Keys. Is that what it's called?
Yes, it's the Florida Keys.
Yeah. Like, it's on a separate island from the rest of the city.
Uh-huh.
And is it?
I think so.
So they live on a little poor minority favela island, right?
Yeah.
And then all the presumably rich white people live in Cyberpunk City.
Yes.
And I just think none of it looks real.
I don't think it needs to look real.
I guess we got how real does Gotham City ever look? Well, I think from The Flash, where they put no effort into making Glasgow look like a separate place, and then this film, where this film just looks like nowhere. Like, this is just a very brutal break from a sense of reality.
I don't mind it at all because the whole movie looks that way, and it feels... we talk about how The Flash, it's like, oh, it's a distinct visual style. This actually does feel like a distinct visual style that they're going for.
Kind of. I think it screams making props on the cheap, I'll say that.
Well, that's just being efficient.
Did you like Grandma's big disco minigun?
I did like Grandma's big disco minigun, Nathan. I liked the sister's power glove.
Yes, power. That reminds me of Ghostbusters 2016, where they have like ghost catcher oven mitts. I can't.
I like that the mum took a gun and never actually used it at one point in the movie.
I forgot. I didn't even notice, Kyle. There you go. I should say it took me 2 sittings to watch this, audience. I fell asleep.
Yes, so that's a real good gauge of how Nathan was doing watching this movie.
Yeah, it's just okay. It's fine. I saw this in cinema, right? I've seen every DCEU film in the cinema, right? And I think I liked it when I saw it in the movies more as like a first time viewer. But then I've just through this is my second time watch through. I'm like just movie taking note mode. I've enjoyed it before with little criticism. Now I'm just filled with critiques.
I don't know what it is, but there's this specific style for the city in this movie that I just really enjoy. I really like the holographic displays on the top of skyscrapers. It's not quite like cyberpunk. It's like it's cyber without the punk to it. It's sort of like cyber modern.
It's the future.
It's semi-future, yeah. I just really like that visual style. I don't know. It always works for me.
So there's been a Blue Beetle before our hero, Kyle?
There's been 2 before.
There has been 2 before. And the last one, Ted Cord,
yeah.
He was obsessed with the Blue Beetle, but never came into contact with the Blue Beetle and was just like a Blue Beetle fanboy. And as such, made a bunch of Blue Beetle themed superhero gear.
Well, I don't know if that's true, because it seems like he knew the original Blue Beetle. And, like, he kind of inherited the title from that guy.
But the Blue Beetle was in, like, a Arctic concrete
Yeah,
sphere.
I don't know why that's the case. I think someone hid it there. Maybe Ted hid it there.
But he could never unlock the secrets of it.
But he did, like, that's where his technology came from, isn't it? He,
so
like,
this is a critique of the film I have, Kyle. They're like,
Yeah.
he could never get it to work. He never understood the secrets of the Blue Beetle, but then all of his technology is like blue hexagon hard light, the same as the Blue Beetle outfit.
Yeah, he never was able to, like, activate it and get the power directly, but he did, like, study it and kind of figure out some of that stuff.
A bit like Victoria Cord.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Why didn't he make a super suit then?
He did. We see them.
He made spandex, Kyle. That's not the... I'm thinking of the Omex, Kyle. Why didn't he make one of them but for himself to be a hero?
Because those things look pretty freaking painful to wear.
One would say having the beetle insert itself into your spinal cord's also pretty painful.
Yeah, it is. We see that. It's like a horror movie sequence.
I doubt
it's
he
great.
would have complained if that had happened to him.
No, you wouldn't. But we don't know that his spandex suits don't have some magic tech. Like, Batman suits look just kind of like normal, but they're like armored and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not debating any of that. I just don't understand how he understands the secrets of the Blue Beetle if he was unable to unlock
Because
it.
he was a DC movie super genius, like every movie super genius.
DC movie.
He was just Tony Starking it up. It's fine.
Okay, and it just matches the power set and visual art style as the thing he could
Well,
never utilise.
Well, he was trying to emulate that.
Yeah, yes, but how does he know what it looks like? He was never able to harness it. He doesn't know.
Because he knew the first guy.
Did the first guy have the beetle?
Yes!
I've missed this entirely, Kyle.
They find his scans on the computer and they're like, oh, you're going to have to die to get this removed because we know from this other guy that that Jenny's dad knew.
This might have been when I fell asleep.
Nathan, we can't do this podcast if you don't watch the goddamn movie.
I have watched the whole movie because I rewound it when I woke up. I must have just missed 2 minutes. I remember I have plenty of notes in the Blue Beetle cave, Kyle. You've read my notes.
Yeah, I like the Blue Beetle cave. I like all the retro gadgets.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
I love the giant beetle mobile.
The beetle jet.
It's so great. I love how big and silly it is.
It feels something from a James Gunn film.
It does, and I love it.
I could picture Peacemaker using something very similar.
Yeah, it is butterfly adjacent.
What I enjoy is the analogness of it all.
Oh yeah,
It's not all just slick glass touchscreens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite a fan of big clicky buttons, Kyle.
I think it makes a nice contrast to the sort of nanotech bot of the current Blue Beetle suit.
Yes.
Which, by the way, this movie makes nanobots look cool.
I think they make them look horrific. They like burn through your skin to take over your flesh.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks horrific, but like in an interesting way, as opposed to like Iron Man and Infinity War, where it's just like whatever.
In Infinity War, I think it's really rushed. I actually think it looks better in Endgame.
It does. But yeah, like, that's always been the thing with nanotech, is it's just like an excuse to do whatever. I feel like this movie has like a creative vision for nanotech.
It's a bit Green Lantern-y. Anything you can imagine, I can construct.
I mean, whatever. It's sure.
No, it's not a criticism, it's an observation. It's just, again, I reiterate, because I'm going to fall on the back foot of people thinking I hate this. I thought it was equally as good as The Flash and Shazam and Black Adam. This is perfectly fine, and I like those films, so I like this. But Kyle seems to like it significantly more, though I don't know why.
I'm trying to communicate it to you. You're just not following me here.
I'm trying to follow you, Kyle. Go, state your next case.
I love the music. I'm a big sucker for synth tracks, and I love synth. And this movie's all the synthy soundtracks, and I love it.
I'm also a fan of the synth, Kyle. There we go. We have some agreement there. We have an accord.
Got some good needle drops, some Spanish pop music, which I don't recognise, but it's pretty funky.
Recognise absolutely none of it, but there was a Spanish Blame It on the Boogie that I enjoyed. That stuck out to me. Definitely, it's got that Latin bent on this movie that might make it inaccessible to some people that are looking for references that they recognise.
I also like The Family. You keep saying you like The Family. I too like The Family.
Family's very good.
I think they're distinct. I like Anarchist Uncle.
I thought you actually might not like him because I thought he'd be too much. He's like the guy from Black Adam driving around in the van that would listen to I can't remember the name of the song now. I
feel like this uncle gets more emotional resonance than that guy. Right, he gets a scene. There's a lot of good like heart-to-heart conversations in this movie, and he gets one of them up on the roof.
Yeah, he does. The whole family gets a moment. I actually think the mother's probably the least served, though I think she is still served.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it's a bigger family than Miss Marvel, so that's something.
Is it a bigger family?
Yeah, she doesn't have an uncle.
Mum, dad, brother, is that it? And her?
Yeah. We do meet her gran in one episode where they go into season 2 for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, as a bigger family, that's true.
Yeah, so he's also not a teenager, which is...
He's just graduated.
He graduated college because he was studying at
Gotham Law.
He's like 21 or 22.
Good for him.
Yeah. It's an age range that, normally we go younger or older,
He's a good age. Happy for him.
I think that is different from the comics. I think in the comics he's usually a teenager.
I thought he was older in the comics.
Well, I mean, Blue Beetle's like a mantle that gets passed down.
I thought he was like ages with Cyborg.
No, I don't think so.
To be fair, he died playing college football.
I mean, also Cyborg is also younger, usually in the comics.
And he also died playing college football, so he couldn't have been that much older.
Yeah.
Was he also at Gotham Law?
Well, he wasn't studying law. He was studying to be a football player.
But yeah, that was a scholarship. Yeah. Gotham University. He would have been at then. Maybe he knew Jamie Reyes.
Maybe he did. Also, I just realised you're pronouncing it wrong on purpose, aren't you?
They pronounce it in a way in the film that I don't know, Kyle. How is it?
Jaime Reyes.
It just reads like Jamie Lannister to me.
Nathan, there's a lady who is like the receptionist, and she's the most racist person in the world because he says his name, and then she pronounces it wrong, having not seen it written down.
I remember that in your notes, Kelly. Yeah, I remember that scene as well. Yeah, I guess it's Jaime. It's like Juan.
It's Jaime Reyes.
Like Juan.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Over my head, Kyle. I'm just,
I mean, they say it so many times in the movie, Nathan.
They do, but I was always like, that doesn't sound right.
Wow.
Wow. I'm the problem, Kyle. I'm just...
Foreign names don't sound right to you. Is that how it is?
Yeah. Like, Jennifer Cord...
I think we're figuring out why you don't like this movie, just because you're a racist.
God, you got me figured out. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's me in a box. I'm never going to watch the Spy Kids movies on the show ever.
Well, Nathan, as we know, I'm a misogynist, so
you are a misogynist, that's also... We are the spectrum of hatred, aren't we?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So... Jennifer Cord is about 5 years older than Jaime.
Is she?
Yeah.
They were supposed to be about the same age.
The actor's 28.
Right. But I don't think she's playing a 28-year-old.
But she's like a board member, Kyle.
I don't think she looks that old. And they have the conversation with Victoria where it's like, you're only on the board because of your dad.
Yeah, but it's a bit ridiculous. I buy her. She also dresses older.
I don't know. They seemed about the same age to me.
She just strikes me.
It's a comic book universe, Nathan. Kids can be like doing all sorts. It's fine.
That is true. That's true. You watch Grease and you think all those people are teenagers? Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Are you saying you don't buy John Travolta as a 16-year-old in that movie?
Call me crazy. I don't, Kyle. Question, Kyle.
Uh-huh.
Later in the film, they have proven their ability to replicate the Scarab tech by having a big fight in the middle of the street in like a prototype piece of gear.
Yeah.
Why are they still after the Blue Beetle if they have the replication?
Well,
technology?
I mean, it's not a perfect replica. It's a prototype. It's a prototype. It's not as good as the Blue Beetle suit, and it looks extremely painful to wear.
So does the final form, though.
Yeah, well, because it's evil technology, right? But just because you have like a semi-powerful version doesn't mean you don't want a more powerful version.
That's true. I'd have thought you'd have just tried to double down on the one that you've got, you know?
I mean, if you couldn't get the Beetle back, sure, but if you can get the Beetle back, then go for it, you know?
Yeah, go for it, yeah, run for it. Okay, I accept that.
The Blue Beetle suit's very Friday in Spider-Man Homecoming, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
That's what I mean about this movie. Feels like it's really taking pieces from other superhero movies and just sort of melding them into this movie.
Go with what works, absolutely.
But it's the whole, like, don't use lethal force thing. We don't kill people. I mean, heroes don't kill people, Nathan.
I do.
But Black Adam does. Yeah,
I do. Notorious mass murderer Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's not original, but it's fun. It's a nice dynamic for the movie.
Yeah, I guess. I don't. I'm still a bit stunned, Kel. You think this movie's meaningfully better than the other films have just came through the past month?
I'm stunned you don't, because the movies we watched before were bad.
I thought they were fine. I think this is also fine. Maybe it's because those films don't feel as cheap. Maybe.
I don't think that's the problem. I think those movies feel over budget.
No, I mean, if the budget says that they spent X amount of money on what they produced, then yeah, I would say it's over budget. But I feel like they could have put more into this. This feels cheap. I
think, as I've said several times, it's going for that Disney Channel look, which you seem to think is an insult, but no, I think
that's them coping with the fact that this was made for streaming, which is fine. But then if you're going to say we're going to upgrade this to the cinema, go all out. If I can still see the skeleton of the TV show Origins that you say it's embracing and I say they're working with what they got, I think the studio should have gave them more. I think that this movie is a victim of not enough budget, actually.
Well, they knew this movie was going to make $0, that's why.
Then why put the money into investing it for a theatrical release? It's because
I have no idea. That's why I asked you at the start of the podcast.
It's because they think they're going to get something back from it. They took a look at it and thought there's something here. They truly...
Because there is, because it's good.
But it didn't do well, Kyle, did it?
Well, that's because no one cares about DC anymore, right? This is kind of the... First of all, it's a character that no one's heard of before, and second of, it's the well-known commercial failure DCEU that's about to die, so...
Yep. Or not, maybe at this point when they kind of were telling us that this character would persist.
I mean, who knows? I think he probably will. I think if we see Blue Beetle again, it'll be the same guy.
When Uncle Rudy calls Batman a fascist, is he talking about Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, or George Clooney?
He's actually talking about Robert Pattinson.
Can you imagine this Blue Beetle existing in the Pattinson-verse? Could you imagine, Hamey has come from that Gotham City.
I'm going to tell you, he's probably referring to Ben Affleck Batman, because Ben Affleck Batman kills people. And that's that's what makes a Batman a fascist, right? Is if he crosses that line and murders people at that point, he's just a fascist.
Apparently, not just an authoritarian. Like, there's a racist bent in fascism. You know, are you calling Batman a racist now, Kyle? Is that what you're doing?
Well,
Nathan, he's a white guy. It's because he's white, right? It's because he's white.
Then you get to the complex socioeconomics of, like, who are the poor people committing crimes in Gotham? You know, it's probably people of colour who are marginalised, you know?
That's why we only ever see him beat up white people. Well, the first person Robert Pattinson beats up is a black guy in a white mask, so...
And also the kid from Miss Marvel's there, so...
What?
I think that was that kid.
Was it?
You know, like the love interest man in Miss Marvel?
Yeah.
The tall guy?
Yeah, I remember him.
Is that not him at the start of the Batman? Did I imagine that?
I think you're imagining it. I don't actually remember his face. I remember the face of the kid in the Batman who Pattinson beats up and he's got the half skull face paint on. Mm-hmm. My memory of that isn't that he's in Miss Marvel, though.
In my memory, it's the same guy. Maybe I'm totally making that up.
I will leave it to someone else to fact check because I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Right. I have a question about Uncle. Is he like a famous comedian of some variety that I don't recognise?
He's like a Latin Larry the Cable Guy.
Right, I see. That makes sense because he's doing a lot of bits in this movie.
Hold on. Cast of Blue Beetle. George Lopez. Wait,
right.
Did he host a talk show?
I mean, maybe. I've never seen him in anything before. So
he used to host a talk show. He was also named one of the top 25 Hispanics in American history by Time Magazine 2005.
Okay, so clearly I'm being ignorant and racist by not knowing who this guy is. But
he starring in a self-produced ABC sitcom. To be fair, Kel, why would we know? We're not even American, Kel.
No, that's true.
We have no reason. We don't have a large Hispanic relation situation in the United Kingdom or indeed in Canada, I assume.
I don't think so. We're more French here.
Yeah, we're Europeans.
Although Toronto is the most multicultural city in the world, so who knows?
Is it?
I mean, that's like a thing people say about it. I would buy it.
Okay, good. No, good for Toronto, I suppose.
It's either that or it's a place like Hong Kong or something. I don't know.
I know where you'll know George Lopez from, Kyle.
Where?
He played Mr. Electric in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
You know what? I was like 4 when I watched those movies, so
he's like,
I can't say I have a good memory of them.
School teaching baddie. He was in Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3, Viva La Fiesta.
I can't say I've seen that one.
It
sounds like a cinematic masterpiece, but I've not
Beverly
partaken.
Hills Chihuahua 2, Beverly Hills Chihuahua 1, The Smurfs 2. He's done bits, Kyle.
I've never seen any of these.
Looking at his repertoire, he's definitely more of a TV kind of actor.
But Nathan, back to Blue Beetle.
It
was pretty sad when the dad died, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a heart attack. They planted that in the film.
Yeah. I think that was... I mean, it was bad that he died, but it was a good moment in the movie because it felt quite real and genuine. It wasn't like a big dramatic moment. It was like, this is a high-stress situation and he has a heart problem.
Yeah, no, it resonated with me. I felt the death. It was a good moment.
Mm-hmm. And then Nana reveals herself as assumedly being a rebel of some variety.
Yeah, and she's done with the Imperialists. She fought somewhere in Central America or South America.
She definitely fought somewhere where she was fighting somewhere backed by America. They just can't say that in the movie.
Yeah, maybe she's Cuban.
Maybe she is.
She was at the Bay of Pigs invasion.
Can you imagine if that was in the movie?
I would have loved it. I like it when films get political, Kyle.
Oh, can you imagine how YouTube would react to such things? I'm sure they already hated this movie, but oh my goodness.
I don't think they ever commented on it, Kyle.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
I didn't look into it, but sometimes my algorithm shows me things, and I don't remember the algorithm servicing me any Blue Beetle hate, because...
Because the movie did badly?
Yeah, exactly. You know, go broke, somebody probably tweeted that, and that was it.
Of course.
I don't think this film's particularly woke.
Nathan, the only white person is a villain. You already made your case for why this movie is woke.
That's not a criticism, though. That's real. Yeah, I mean...
Are you saying this movie needed a Bruno, a boring white friend?
I think so. That it's like, he's the guy in the chair.
Because you can't enjoy a movie if there's not someone there who looks like you.
He's the guy in the chair.
Uh-huh.
I think they never went full Hispanic with their casting choices in this film, though. Like, for their leads.
What do you mean?
I think Jennifer Cord specifically, I think she could be white passing in a casting situation.
Apart from her heavy Brazilian accent?
I don't think it's that heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
Is it? I didn't notice it. She sounds very American to me. She's very good at the enunciations of, like, Spanish accents and stuff, like for Jaime, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think she could be... I'm thinking of it as like central casting, you know. I think casting is one of those things that deserve an Academy Award, because casting's a very, very difficult thing, and casting can make or break a movie. I think that everyone's fairly well cast, but I also think that everyone, that our two main leads are love interests, I think they look passingly white. I don't know.
That's a real sensitive issue that I don't want to get into, Nathan.
It's a super sensitive issue, but I can see the cynical mind of a casting director, Kyle.
Uh-huh.
It's like people say that in the new Captain America film, and a lot of the posters for it, like they've given them like a new helmet, and it's so that they can just not put a black man on the poster in more racially intolerant countries.
It's like those Force Awakens posters in China.
Yeah, or Infinity War posters with Black Panther. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I like, you think it's definitely a sensitive issue, Kyle, but I don't think it's as crazy as maybe you're thinking I'm sounding.
I mean, I don't know how to comment, Nathan. This is like a road, and on one side is a raging fire, and on the other side is like a tornado, and I don't want to go down either of those roads.
Okay, Kel, we don't have to go down one of those roads, but I would say I think their casting was definitely particular. That's my opinion on the matter.
Okay, I'll say, sure. How about the scene where he sees his ghost dad that came out 2 months after Guardians of the Galaxy 3, where Rocket goes to heaven and sees his dead friends and they tell him it's not his time yet?
I see. It gives me more Black Panther or Lion King vibes, Kyle. Where
sure, yeah.
You see James Earl Jones standing under a tree,
or you see Killmonger. Dun, dun, dun.
Or you see Killmonger. Yeah, quite. I forgot about Black Panther.
Yeah, it sure is a thing that happens in superhero movies, isn't it?
Yeah, they do enjoy that. I never even thought of Guardians.
I really like the visual though, where you see him in the living room and there's like this sea of candles behind him. I think that's a cool look.
Yeah, it's I think that comes from like what's it called? The Book of Life. It's like a kind of Latin American culture thing. Mm-hmm. They like their rooms filled with candles, you know?
Yeah, it's like the Festival of Death or whatever. I can't remember what it's called.
De Muerta or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I liked it. I liked it right up until they went outside, Kyle.
When it becomes a bit Quantum Mania.
It becomes a bit Quantum Mania. It becomes a little bit, I've been poisoned by Scarecrow. Kind of that's kind of the vibe that I got from it. With like a big Blue Beetle floating there in the sky. Mm-hmm. It's just a little bit off. It's a bit wild for me. It's fine. It's, you know what, Kit, as I say about this whole film, it's fine, you know?
What do you think about the claw, Nathan?
What claw?
Do you remember when they captured Blue Beetle by shooting a magic claw at him?
No.
They're in their cyberpunk helicopter, and Victoria Carr's like, ready the claw, and then Carapax pulls out a big claw and shoots it at Blue Beetle.
I watched this film 2 hours ago and I don't remember that.
How do you remember him getting captured?
I don't remember him getting. I know that he gets captured. That like he's in the big. It looks like the Spartan halo.
You did rewatch this movie, right?
Yeah, I did. I sent you a whole page full of notes. It's when he's in the big circle. It looks like how they take armor off of Spartans in Halo.
Yes,
and they're holding up in that. I can't remember how they got him in that position. And then Carapax is in like a chair and he's got like a plug in the back of his head from the big spinal Olmec thing. Yeah, no, I did rewatch it. I just apparently I blacked out there. I didn't take notice on that moment, to be honest.
It's the scene where he has to go back and save his family.
Yeah, I remember when they break him out because they short circuit the electrical systems, and then the suit's rebooting. Then he meets Grams and she takes him back to the Beetle ship that has fart gas. I remember
it does have fart gas, and it plays Motley Crue.
Yeah, it does play Motley Crue. Yes, our favourite part of the film. Kickstart My Heart is like a kick the door off the hinges song, Kyle.
It's very Peacemaker, isn't it? It's the sort of thing Peacemaker would listen to.
Peacemaker does listen to it. I have it in my notes.
Yes.
What a good song Kickstart My Heart is. Yeah, and then that's the moment where Mama Reyes has a time to shine. And she's like, go and kick their asses and go get your sister back, because sister is using the hard light shield to defend herself against goons with guns.
Yes.
And she uses the
and she can also,
big blue fist.
She can turn it into a big fist, but she has to hit a bunch of buttons on it first, which I love because it's so inconvenient.
Yeah, and big and analog, yeah. Uh-huh.
It makes sense though, like she doesn't have some sort of mental connection to it, because that's always bothered me in these movies, of like, how does Iron Man make his suit fly? It just does it because he wants it to. How does he have like a complex series of like hand movements that make that happen?
I think that he's probably got like neck gestures and finger gestures, and he's also got an AI inside the helmet, Kyle. Like if he looks up into the sky, like it's all contextual. There's like a million cameras looking at his face, like an Apple Vision Pro, where his eyes can look in a certain direction. I don't know. I don't think Iron Man's got a problem with his ability to intuitively fly around.
It's the same with like any jetpack and anything though. Like how does Boba Fett activate his jetpack?
There's a button that his head hits when he puts his head up.
Right, okay.
That's how that works.
It's fine. They just have a telepathic link to it or something. Don't worry about it.
It's an extension of yourself.
Yeah. They use the Force.
So, what's the sister's name again?
I can't remember.
I remember no one in this film's name.
I remember Jaime Reyes because they say it a million times.
And I remember
Jenny Cord because that's a white person name.
I'm telling you, Kyle, right? I'm not insane. Her mum was an artist, Kyle, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah, she paints.
Yeah, she was a painter. Why? How did she die?
Childbirth.
Was it childbirth? Oh,
no, because she died when she was like 3.
Yeah, she knew her mom.
I assume she was caught up in some kind of supervillain plot.
She was killed by the fascist Batman. She was.
It's like an old world Batman, and I am the fascist Batman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rudy seems to think we live in that reality already, Kyle. So I don't know what to tell you. You know.
Yeah, but Rudy is also like. I mean, he has some conspiracy theories, but also he hates cops, so he's not all bad. Also, he's an illegal immigrant. That's a thing we established in this movie.
Papers. Wasn't the dad also an illegal immigrant?
Well, yeah, they're brothers, so I assume
they came together.
The two of them and Nana are illegal immigrants.
Is Nana Dad's mum?
I think so, isn't she?
I don't know. I'm just asking in case I missed something. I wasn't clear on who she was.
I think Rudy, that's a name I remember. Uncle Rudy is also her son. So
right, okay.
I think it is the dad's mum.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah, a lot of commentary in this film, in that kind of.
I mean, that's Nathan. There's illegal immigrants that are presented as human beings and people, so that's pretty woke.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. Actually, no, the Fandom Menace have ripped this film to shreds. I apologise. It praised illegal immigration. Of course, this film is woke.
But yeah, and that's good, Nathan.
That's what. Yeah, very good thing. Yeah, I would like to see a Blue Beetle too, Kyle, with an actual budget behind it. I
would love to see a Blue Beetle too. Let's talk about Carapax, shall we?
We need to. I don't care about Carapax at all.
I like him.
He's my least favourite Decepticon.
He's a big evil brute man, but it turns out he has a tragic backstory.
In the last 3 seconds before they just execute him.
They kind of foreshadow it earlier, because he has that little locket, which it looks like it's his wife and son, but it turns out it's actually him and his mum.
Yes, fine. Sandman carries around one of them in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, he does.
Well, that is, you say, Kyle, breaking no new ground here.
No, absolutely not. But it's fine. I like it. And I like that they changed the dynamic where Jaime is the one who wants to kill him because he thinks that he's killed Rudy, and then the suit stops him because they're in symbiosis now and they understand, and the suit knows that he's not a murderer. It's good. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I clapped. I clapped when Carapax when he decides to explode his suit and drag Ant Cord into a fire.
Yep.
Is there a nuclear reactor in that suit? That explosion's pretty fucking big.
I mean, probably. It's super advanced alien technology, right?
Is the human replicated equivalent also alien technology?
Well, they download the alien code or whatever. So.
Alright, okay. So that's able to synthesize elements in reactor code.
This movie's basically RoboCop.
Oh yeah, I noticed that it was quite like RoboCop as well, Kyle. That's one of my earlier notes that I took.
The OMAC.
Yeah, so it's like the TED 209.
Yes.
Ed or Ted? I think it's Ted.
It's we'll call this one the TED 209.
And like this corporation basically runs this city because apparently there's no police anywhere. Because their henchmen from Cord Tower can come out and shoot on the street, and it's
they say they have jurisdiction, so I guess the government just works for Cord Industries.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a fan of RoboCop. I think RoboCop is very good, especially the first one. I actually quite like the whole trilogy. Some people don't really like RoboCop 3. I don't mind RoboCop 3. He gets a wingsuit in RoboCop 3, Kyle.
I knew he got a jetpack. Does he get a wingsuit?
Yeah, it's a jetpack, but I think it's got wings on it.
Right, like Buzz Lightyear.
Like Buzz Lightyear, exactly. But yeah, I also got the RoboCop analogies to this film about just like a city run by a business, a private corporation. They've got a private police force and all that, and they're knocking down the poor districts of the city in order to make the big gentrified hellscape they want to make. Mm-hmm. There's a start
like Herbie.
What?
One of the plots in one of the Herbie movies is that they're knocking down the fire station where they stay to build a mall.
Oh! I've only seen Herbie Reloaded.
Oh, the Lindsay Lohan one?
Yeah, that's the only Herbie.
Yeah, the old ones are good, but don't watch them because they're very racist.
The old ones are good, but don't watch them because they're very racist.
Yeah.
Noted. Kyle, noted enjoyer of racist films.
Yes, that's what to take away from that, yeah.
Away from them. So yeah, I wonder if Starbucks knew what the product placement in this film is going to be, Kyle.
Oh, when was there I know there was Starbucks, I just can't remember where exactly it was.
It's when there's like an establishing shot of a bunch of shut store lots in the Keys. And it's like, all these business plots provided by Cord Industries. And one of the first ones is a big banner in front of it saying Starbucks coming soon, which is just...
so Starbucks is a product of like corporate takeover and gentrification.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
But it's branded.
I mean, it's not inaccurate.
But it's branded, so it's a product placement, and it's supposed to be seen as negative. Why are Starbucks okay with this? You know
why, Nathan? It's because people don't look too deeply into movies that way.
Oh, okay. They're just like, hey, a new Starbucks is opening up.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing that like me and you who analyse movies think about, but your regular person is like, oh, there was a Starbucks, yeah.
Oh, they're opening a Starbucks, yeah. Oh, I want a Frappuccino now. Yeah. I want my flat white.
Yeah, Nathan, we are not the target of any product placement because when me and you see product placement, we're like, oh yeah, that's product placement. Yeah. Mercedes paid to have that car in the movie.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But what was the Scottish dad from last thing? Oh yeah, there was a Mercedes in that movie. Oh yeah. Was that the new model?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's quite nice. I've been thinking of getting a new car recently. This could be a perfect opportunity now, actually. This is
Take it into Starbucks, grab myself a Frappuccino.
Yes. Oh, you got it, Kyle. You understood. Yeah. Sometimes it's really depressing that I can't just be ignorant to a film.
I love it, Nathan. I think we get greater enjoyment out of movies because of it.
I think I would like to just sit and watch a film. And I can't because I'm always looking at they've cast this person because of this reason, or they have based on like previous films that they've been in and whatnot, and they've chose this shooting location because of tax breaks, and look at that car that they're driving. Tony Stark is driving that electric Audi in Avengers Endgame when he goes to the Avengers facility to give Captain America his shield. Not because that's what Tony Stark would drive, because he's a rich billionaire. It's because the new Audi is what they've paid for, and there's a very close logo establishing shot of it,
It's weird too, because like brands exist in real life all the time, right? Yep. Like... I go to my cupboard right now and it's all brands, right?
I'm sitting in front of a can of Iron Brew.
Yeah, I've got a Tim Hortons mug in front of me right now, right?
Yep, I'm using a Blue Yeti microphone.
But you see it in movies and you're like, all the labels, they got to be facing outwards towards the camera so you can see distinctly what they are.
Yeah. There's a really interesting shot of when Hamey is Instagram stalking.
Yes, love that, by the way.
Love that.
That's what you would do.
That's what you would know. Yeah, relatable. We've all stalked people on Instagram, haven't we, Kyle? That's what we're admitting to right now, isn't it?
Yeah, you cute girl you think might be flirting with you. Of course you go to her Instagram to see if she's got a boyfriend,
Then it's private. God.
Nah, she's a rich billionaire. She's got that public.
She's got that public. She needs that PR exposure. So when he's lying in bed, the camera establishing shot of him starts from behind his iPhone and it pans around to look at his face. Now it's always out of focus and there's a case on it, but it has the distinct tri-cameras of an iPhone that you know when you're seeing it an iPhone because of the 3 big cameras in the back. And I thought you're broke. Why you got a 3-camera iPhone is the Pro model, Kyle?
Nathan, everyone has an iPhone. Or a smartphone at least,
yeah,
right?
But the three camera ones.
You can't live in the modern world without one. He went to college.
The 3-camera model's the expensive variant, Kyle. That's all I'm saying, and I think it might be more to do. Kyle, I think just me being crazy here. I think it might be product placement.
Well, but they didn't show the Apple logo, so that's possible that they didn't pay for that one.
True.
Paid Instagram. But they didn't pay Apple.
Do we see the Instagram logo when he's stalking Instagram? Even though the UI is clear, do we?
I think they say Instagram at one point. They say, "Did you check her Instagram?" or something like that.
Okay, right. Okay, that would also work. Yeah, meta.
I think the sister says at some point, "It's like I was looking at her Instagram" or something like that.
I have a question, Kel.
Uh-huh.
Because we've we've watched movie reviews ourselves before where people have mentioned how an entire film's budget was covered by the product placement. Do you think that a good portion of this film's budget was covered by product placement?
We've talked about Power Rangers, but this is no Krispy Kreme situation.
No, I thought it was Dunkin' Donuts.
I think is it Dunkin' Donuts? It's one of those ones.
You know what? That's a bad indictment in that movie with all that product placement, and we don't even know which donut company it was.
Or like Baskin Robbins in the Ant-Man movies.
Oh yeah, that's criminal in those movies. Jesus.
Well, they don't hire criminals, Nathan.
That's true, because they are the criminal. As all things, the real villain of the piece is capitalism.
It's capitalism. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Like, we've mentioned a couple, but I don't think there's like super explicit product placement in this movie. There's usual movie product placement in this movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't think it's
the box that she hides like the Beetle in. Is that a real fast food place? Because I didn't recognize
don't think
it.
So what was it called? Happy Burger? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that one was real. So if that was a McDonald's, then maybe I would think otherwise.
You had a question, Kyle, about the clay animated characters in the end post-credit scene. Now, they were also the same show that was used when the EMP'd the security cameras.
Yes.
That
I looked this up later. It's some sort of like famous Spanish parody superhero thing. Or not Spanish, Mexican Spanish thing.
Yes, it is. And also, I'll tell you when my first exposure to this was in Fortnite, Kyle. Because they added that character as a Fortnite skin, really out of the blue, with no cross promotion or tie-in, and it was just there. And me and everyone I play Fortnite with are obviously a bunch of people that live in the UK with no cultural context for this movie whatsoever. So we're like, what the hell is this? And then we had to Google it and find out. So when it showed up, and this was a couple of years ago, so when it showed up in Blue Beetle, it had prepared me. I was like, I know this. I'm better than everyone in the cinema because I understand this reference.
You're that one guy in the security office is laughing at you.
In the cinema, everyone's like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, hey, it's the guy from Fortnite.
I'm sure all the people who love this character will love that you just called him the guy from Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't even remember his name, Kyle. I just know is the visual of like, I think he is who Bumblebee Man is based on in The Simpsons.
Right, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you say that and now all the tie-ins start to plug in. You're like, right, okay, yeah,
And Blue Beetle has nothing to do with the Tech either, who's a different character.
What?
Remember the Tech?
Oh, the Tech, yeah, I remember the Tech.
Played by Patrick Warburton.
Yes, why was I going to say it was Ben Affleck? I just think Ben Affleck plays every superhero. Daredevil, the George Reeves Superman, Batman, the Tech.
He's playing all the fascists, yeah.
The famous fascist Superman.
Yeah, I mean sometimes.
Sometimes we all go a little bit fascist sometimes.
Yeah, that's the Injustice plot basically, right?
Yeah, and I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, how do you think Jaime Reyes would survive in the apocalypse thing that's coming in this universe at some point?
Well, Kyle, in the Injustice story, Blue Beetle is actually a character.
Oh, which Blue Beetle is it?
I can't remember. I can't remember which Blue Beetle it is because that was my first exposure to the Blue Beetle character, and it was just the Blue Beetle, you know. But they were kind of like the rookies, and him and another person that's like a kid and a scientist come together to be like a fire superhero,
right.
And the two of them were like the rookies to the team in Injustice 2. So Batman's in jail. And not Batman, Superman's in prison, and they're responsible as like the last line of defense to guard Superman if anyone were to come to try and break him out.
Right, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
I assume it fails and someone breaks Superman out.
Supergirl, I believe.
Oh.
Injustice is good. I would recommend Injustice.
I don't like fighting games.
I know, but I just put it on easy and played it for the cutscenes, Kyle. You also get dialogue options. It's like an RPG.
I see. Okay.
No, it's not dialogue options, sorry. It's who do you want to play as to fight in this campaign? Because you always go somewhere in teams of two. It's like, oh, I'll fight them and you go do the mission, you know?
You know what was a running gag in this movie I liked? Whenever he activates the suit, all his clothes burn off.
Yeah, and he comes back naked.
Yeah, and they never like do anything about that or fix it. It's like, yeah, this is just something he's going to have to deal with for the rest of his life.
This movie...
He just has to get naked before he puts his suit on.
I respect this movie more than I respect The Quarry.
Yes, we as a friend group played The Quarry recently. It's one of those horror movie games.
Semi-telltale game.
Sort of telltale horror game where any of the characters can die. But yes, Nathan was very critical of the fact that when they turn into spoilers werewolves, their clothes somehow come back.
Only their underwear, because everything else is very, very gorely destroyed. It's like the werewolf bursts out of the inside of the skin, and then when they become human again, their human flesh and personality and that grow back over the werewolf persona. But they've got their underwear back. Just their underwear. That's it.
It's all tastered, to be fair.
Oh, it's got a couple of scrapes on it, like the body horror explosion that destroyed all the clothing. Somehow the underwear just survived despite being at the epicenter of the explosion. Okay.
I did think about that at the end of the movie, right? Because he does like the Superman thing where he flies her away.
Yeah.
Right?
Love that moment.
And they don't do the gag, which I loved in Spider-Man Far From Home.
No Way Home, where they're screaming manically.
Yeah, no, that's Far From Home is the end of that movie.
No, but that movie. Oh, it's no. That's when that screaming is when they're flat when they're going back to the apartment because.
I think it's both. I think it's both.
Right, okay, yeah, both, yeah, because they're swinging through to go to Times Square where we see J. Jonah Jameson on the screen, right, okay.
And Zendaya is just screaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny Card's more into it. But
because she's a biker, she's a cool.
Yeah, but also A, she left her bike there, whoops, and B, when she gets to their house, he's naked. So what's happening after they land?
He doesn't take the superhero suit off, Kyle. That's my point to make there.
Or they're both consenting adults, my dudes.
Kyle, I give this movie credit for keeping him naked, right? I draw the line at involving any sexuality to this film. They're taking it slow, Kyle. They've just kissed.
But Nathan, the symbiote says that he has blood rushing to his
They made a
regions.
boner joke at the end of this movie, Kyle. Crazy. Insane. And I want to just bring it before we go far past it. She left the motorbike there. He can fly her back. And are you implying that area of the town is unsafe, Kyle?
No, I suppose not, because all the townsfolk came along and they're friendly and they're going to help rebuild the house.
She just bought Rudy a new truck. Rudy's going to defend the bike.
At least they'd like address that like, oh, she runs the company now, so she can just fix all of this with money.
I did enjoy capitalism, Kyle, the hero of the piece. I did enjoy the truck that was bought for Rudy was blue, a little bit on the nose, Kyle. And
because he's the Blue Beetle, he's the getaway driver.
He's the getaway driver. What I also enjoyed, Kyle, was you see the newsreel of Jennifer Cord speaking to the press. And she's like, obviously we mourn the passing of Victoria Cord, you know. It's a real pain, it's a real shame, you know, as if she's not been the cause of all these problems. But anyway, we're gonna go, but we're gonna stop making weapons now. I am Tony Stark. You know?
Yeah, I'm Tony Starking at the end of Iron Man. Do you remember when Uncle Rudy built a machine that blocks cameras and then he hit Carapax with it by swinging the car around? That was awesome.
Fast and the Furious level of logic, isn't it? It's like when I tell you, pull the handbrake up real hard and and the EMP device is just gonna fly out. And with the right...
Like, he could have just hit him with the truck, but no.
No, because then you would have ran over our kid, Blue Beetle.
I guess.
You know?
I guess.
We don't want to do that.
But what we can do is do, like, the complicated math in our heads to swing the car at just the right angle and speed to fling this thing at him.
He's a smart man, that anarchist, Kel.
Yes, he's the Mexican Doc Brown.
Yeah, sure.
They say that. They say that in the movie, Nathan.
Do they? Sure, okay.
I mean, they do say that. It literally.
Oh, yeah.
He says that to Jenny, that he's Mexican Doc Brown.
Yeah. Oh, just one of those many lines that have fallen through my brain's wrinkles, you know?
Yeah, well, it's a good movie, Nathan.
It's all right. It's okay. I'd be open to seeing another one.
I would like to see, we can follow up on Ted Card and what's his deal. Is he trapped in the quantum realm? It seems like he might be trapped in the quantum realm.
So, something that I meant to bring up when we done the Flash kill, but I forgot to until after we'd recorded it, but I'm just going to bring it up here, is a post-credit scene they had originally cut from the Flash was Barry getting a message from Batfleck via the quantum realm.
Right.
And he was, like, stuck in the multiverse, like in a different reality. And Barry in the Flash 2 was supposed to go on a hunt to look for Ben Affleck's Batman, right?
I see.
Yeah, right. Now, they cut it because
they're not going to do that.
We ain't doing shit, right? We're done.
Yeah.
And we've got George Clooney now.
Yeah, and we don't want to keep Ezra Miller for several reasons.
And we don't want to keep Ezra Miller for several reasons. But they stuck to their guns and kept this post-credit scene about Ted Korg being stuck in a multiverse of some sort.
I don't know. He's stuck somewhere. It's not necessarily a multiverse situation.
I got the inclination or whatever that he was stuck in some sort of realm. Like, he isn't just broadcasting on some sort of island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, you know?
He's trapped in some sort of realm. Yeah, I'll concede that. Yeah. But you can have realms within a single universe.
Yeah, you can.
Like the things that Thor draws. Like Anaheim and Valheim
all
that.
Yeah, they are the realms.
Yeah.
They all, like, are circles that align every once in a while.
Even though it's later just sort of, I guess they're just planets. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they fly to Asgard in a spaceship, and it's like the flat Earth. It's really weird.
It's a great visual, like waterfalls falling off the edge. I'm quite a fan of flat Earth artistry. It's like nice fantasy concept. I wouldn't give it science respect, Kyle. Let's not call Nathan a flat earther here or nothing.
Nathan, why are you some kind of globe head?
I am a round-headed boy, Kyle. I yes. I'm sorry, I can't be the flat earther you want me to be, Kyle. I can just be an admirer of the art. So is that us, Kyle?
Yeah, I think that's us.
That we've Blue Beetled.
We have Blue Beetle. Yes,
Blue Beetle. My God. Well, Kyle, this is us almost at the end.
Yep, penultimate SnyderVerse movie.
Yeah, we have another 2 episodes to go, I believe. Mm-hmm. We have Aquaman, then we're doing Watchmen, aren't we?
We are. We figured the podcast is called the SnyderVerse, so we should bring it back to Zack Snyder for the end.
For a film that retroactively became a DC property before it was made, I think.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly happy with that. So, thank you, everyone, for watching or listening, as always. Kyle, where can people find you online?
People can, of course, find me at Kyle the Scot on YouTube, where I do video essays and game critiques and things of that nature. I haven't actually talked much about DC, I'll be honest. But, that's fine, isn't it?
That's what this show's for, Kyle.
That's what this show is for.
That's what this show's for.
And Nathan, where can the people find you?
The people can find me, as always, at Nathan Tinney on any social media platform you prefer. Mastodon,
except for Hive.
Except for Hive, yeah. Hive seems to be... They still aren't responding to my emails.
Missed opportunity. They don't know what they're missing.
They do.
You could re-invitalise that platform.
I am one of their biggest posters, or was, anyway, But yeah, you can find me Mastodon, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, Twitter, of course. Why wouldn't I be there? I love it there so much. But yeah, wherever you need me to be, that's where I'll be. You'll find me in Kyle's comment sections as well every once in a while, because I like to support my friend in the algorithm, the fight against the computer gods.
Yeah, it's rough.
Well, everyone, thank you, and you can join us next week where we will be talking about Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom.